All right, we're back. We got Kevin Tame here, gonna teach me a thing or two.
Do my
Um,
best.
what happened? What I did was I recorded me playing a couple of games back on last Friday, and I ended up recording them without sound to do something different with them than usual. And I reached out to Kevin Tame and said, "Hey, Kevin, would you come over here and show old rookie how to be a better net runner?" And he agreed, and so here we are. And so before we press the play button on this video, we're going to just talk about a few things and kind of set the groundwork. Just to go ahead, and I'll start with this. This is the modded tournament. You know, I talk about it pretty regular on here, but the modded tournament is on the Green Level Clearance Discord server, and it is only the System Core 2019 and the Ashes cycle. So it's a limited power, limited card pool, which is great for people like me who want to learn the new cards, but also just just having less options in deck building can be a plus sometime when you're first starting out. So that's where we're at, and so I'll let Kevin take it from here.
Cool. So tell me, okay, so since it's a limited format, that helps us. We can like know all the cards. So you're playing Blue Sun here.
Mm-hmm.
What is your strategy in this Blue Sun deck? Like, what are you trying to do?
Yeah, so I the one thing is I've got very few agendas in it. They're all threes and a couple of ones. So and then one of the threes is the SDS drone. So I'm hoping if they do steal it, I get a little window there with it, right? So that's kind of what I'm doing with the agendas. Then I got my punitives in hopes that I can pull off a flat line potentially early in the game if I have more money than the runner. And then it just comes down to using Blue Sun to get Glacier style servers out there. And I have the 4-3 with lockdown with the cordon, the NAPD cordon, so I can
Mhm.
hit that with a glacier, throw that and put an advancement on it, and hopefully score like that. So that's kind of the win conditions I'm trying to pull off here.
So your objective here is to get money,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then score behind a remote. And if the runner tries to steal the agendas, you have this ability with Blue Sun to bring back, a Hadrian's Wall, some big piece of ice, get 10 credits and punitive them, right? So
Hopefully,
that's
yep.
that's like the game plan is sounds like to score out, but then you have that backup. You basically have that threat of punitive.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Cool. Okay. Well, so let's jump into the game and see how you do.
All right.
Okay, so when what I like to do is I like to first obviously look for econ and ice. That's one of the best things you want to kind of do. This seems like a good hand. I'm not sure if I would mulligan it or not. Um, you might mulligan it for better. So that seems like an even better hand. I think it was sixes at that point. Your ice is a little. I think your ice is better here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so what I often do is I think, okay, what is the runner's win condition for this game? So you'll look here and you'll be like, okay, this is lat. The primary way that lat is going to most likely win is off of R&D. Shapers like to win off R&D. So they're going to have cards like RDI, and they're going to have cards like Hushuk, which is like KHU something, but it's pronounced Hushuk. And so you'll want to protect R&D, and yeah, that's pretty much your going strategy. One of my favorite plays is what I call Ice Ice Baby, or you could do that. That's fine as well. You don't. There's not a lot of risk of them running your HQ, but sometimes it's just hedge fund and Ice Ice, or if you have that IPO, that's a great thing to do it. So it looks like It looks like they're trying to sneak some agendas here, like trying to steal something from you. I'm not
Yeah.
sure I love that trash by them. I think that's a mistake on their part. Okay, so you have vulnerability audit. I
Yeah.
see.
Yeah. That's the one. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I mean you can kind of sneak it out pretty easily.
Especially
Um,
with that NAPT cordon to make it worth six money once they even get there,
yeah.
It's pretty nice.
So yeah, the runner's pretty poor here. So I like this play. Let's see what you're gonna do. Oh, you guys are talking. I see. So there's two decisions here, right? Do you put ice on HQ, or do you try and score the agenda? The runner has 4 credits, and they would have to have SMC or the correct breaker. So I like the play personally of just going for it, right?
Yeah.
Just like jamming it out. But
Yeah.
it is a reasonable thing to try and score or try and protect HQ. I think this is the correct play you made here. Is
If it was
just jam.
criminal, I'd probably need to watch it because they got boomerangs flying all the time, though,
Yeah, they
huh?
have boomerangs, they have inside jobs. Like you got to be careful. But
Yeah.
with Shaper, I mean, they could have SMC, but it's going to be expensive for them to get whatever they have. I don't
Mm.
know what the breakers are. I'm assuming it's Gordian Blade. Gordian Blade is expensive to about 4 to install.
Yeah.
Be expensive for them to break. There was no way they were getting in there. So this is a great score.
Yeah, I've learned the value of having ice that have more than two subroutines because of boomerang.
Oh yeah. So Boomerang is Spiderweb is a really good ice on HQ. Hey, this is my art.
Right where?
Penumbral Rake. That's my the Penumbral
Oh
Toolkit.
yeah,
That's illustration by Kevin Tame.
that's awesome. I got a new appreciation for that card.
I don't know if it's that good. I've never played it. Uh,
I haven't either. But
uh, okay, so this is interesting. So you can assume their game plan is Hushuk by their board right now. They want to try and get play a Hushuk because they have all these 1 cost cards or 2 costs. That's what they're going to be building up for. So it's eventually you're going to want that get that Chrysium grid on R&D
mm, I,
because that's going to keep them from being able to use that card.
and I think I did that. Not even I don't even know what Hushik is, right? But oh
It's the
wait,
card. It's the card that allows you to. This is actually good too, though, right? Pulling this agenda because the runner's so poor.
mm-hmm,
You being able to score this is tons of pressure on them.
yeah,
So getting the agenda is good too. The draw is a great play. Like I said, drawing is always good. Once again, I think you make the right call here. Just jamming, that's the right thing to do. What's the word? I mean, like they have no money. I think the runner's actually misplaying this. They're setting up too much and not getting a lot of econ. Like it'd almost be better for them to keep drawing and clicking for credits than it is to be installing stuff. Because what they're trying, like you see that mistake they're making, huge tempo plays. They are, this is what I was talking about earlier. Instead of getting rid of this mantle, they clicked for credits and installed it when what they probably should have done is just pitched the card.
hmm,
Because being below 5 credits is really bad in Netrunner.
hmm.
You want to basically be above 5 credits because then you can play sure gambles to recover. You can so this is a questionable res on your part because you then can't res the HQ ice
Mm-hmm.
or you can't pay for snare.
Mm. Yeah.
However, since you are Blue Sun, it's okay. But if you were not Blue Sun, I would not have made that
Yeah.
because it would have dropped you down below 5 credits, and that could be really bad.
I was thinking the same thing, right? I knew I could recover, but like you said, I've only got 9 agendas in this deck, and I've already put 2 of them out there, right? Why not just let them have it and keep for the snare, even
Keep for
with,
this. Oh yeah, and they hit the snare. Yeah, see, like
yeah,
you can't pay for snare. I don't even know if I would have paid for snare to be honest, because how much is it's 4 for you to res? You would have 5 credits. It would have put you in the same position. I don't think the damage would have been that bad for the runner,
right,
right? Like it's the bigger issue is you going to 1 credit can be really bad
mm-hmm.
if you don't have a way to recover. But since you're Blue Sun, you have a way to recover, so it's a little bit better.
That's why I've been playing him. He's kind of a, Blue Sun's kind of a crutch for young bucks like me, you know. So
So I think you jam this.
yeah, I think I do too.
So this is interesting because you're at 5 credits, but jamming is okay because you're Blue Sun. Oh, it looks like you're trying to
Yeah,
gain money.
yeah. I take an extra turn on this because I figure he's getting close to breakers, and I need a little bit of extra cash to be able to,
See,
you
I
know.
think that's the risk. See, I think you could have risked going for it and won a turn earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you think about it, you had 5 credits. You install and advance. If they run, you res the Whoredom, which costs you 4,
Mm-hmm.
and then you get that money back to score out the vulnerability audit
Right.
the next turn.
Yeah.
And now what you've done is you've given them an opportunity to build their board state a little bit more.
Yep.
I mean, they're making the wrong play here by this, like by professional contacts is a little too late for them. So yeah,
I jam it here.
you jam it and you
Like
win.
you said, it wouldn't. I had the same chance last turn as I did this turn, except for even less because I've basically given them another chance. Actually, I don't jam it here. I go another turn to get some more money. I'm.
Oh yeah, you should have jammed that last turn. They had 0 credits. There's no way they could have
Oh
stolen
wow.
that thing, I think.
Yep.
So like
A lot of times I get focused just playing my cards, and then I don't look up. So that's.
so that's the risk. So I think what you were nervous about when you look at it is that you you're like, I want another piece of ice is what you're thinking in your head.
Yep.
Because but like I think the better play is to be like, okay, prove it to me that you can find the breaker to break this thing. One, you don't know what breaker it is, so you either have to guess right that it's a code gate, or you have to have an SMC to pull it out, which is going to cost you 2 credits, and then the cost, right?
Right. Right. Yeah, and I mean, like you're saying, at the end of the day, they're gonna go broke even if they scored as 3 and it's still 6-3 and they're broke, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I actually don't even think they run it because the punitive threat. Yeah. So here's you 2 turns later. You like you could have won this game 2 turns ago.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so you were going to win it in. I'm assuming you're going to win in turn 10. You could have won it in turn 7
Yeah.
or 8 actually. And it's better to win early. It's better to just get it over with.
Yep.
Because you waste 2 turns now. Or like they might they're now starting to get their board state up where they can start contesting.
Yep. Yeah, like you said, a lot can happen in 2 turns.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and you win here.
Yep. Which is surprising. I'm telling you, I don't win a lot with this deck, honestly. As much as I like it, I'm getting ready to give up on it and do something different, but it got the win this time.
I feel like Blue Sun has to be well, any type of punitive deck has to be the best corp in the game for modded. I'd have
Mm,
to look at the card pool, but it seems like that's one of the best win conditions.
yeah.
You have and Blue Sun has the best way to make money with oversight AI and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
No, so like I mean I think you played this really well. Just that last little mistake, you could have played it a little better.
Yeah.
It was a B plus, but it could have been an A.
The fact that I'm getting B plus is quite impressive to me right now.
So there's something about corporation is you just have to sometimes not be afraid to just jam and make the runner have the cards to be able to contest.
Mm-hmm.
And oftentimes they don't. And then the other issue is you have this real threat of punitive. Like if they steal that thing, like you don't have it in hand right now, but like you could kill them.
Yep. Yeah, that's definitely, and again, that's my problem is those windows. I get really scared, right? I'm scared to take those windows. I'm getting better at it, but it's sporadic. It's like one game I do it right, the other game I'm just sitting around waiting for my doom to come, So,
So think of it like this. Is it going to get any better? Right? Like, is the situation going to get any better? And that's how I find my scoring windows. If it's not going to get any better, run or try and score.
all right, so we'll go ahead and stop it again here.
Okay, so what
And
are you playing?
I'm playing Gabe Santiago.
Okay.
And I'm basically pushing the same deck I've been playing since day one, which is good economy with a Katie to build up. Hopefully, I get that Katie early. I get up to about 21 point, money about mid game, and then I pull it off and I roll, and then just multi access with a sneak door beta in there if they shut
Oh,
everything
cool.
down. So I mean, it's pretty the standard criminal, and I've played 200 games, and probably 190 of them have been, with criminal Leela, Gabe. So I'm looking
You
forward
don't
to.
like Leela? You don't like Leela better?
I do. I'm playing her in Netrunner, and I definitely love Leela, Logos, and some of those cards that add on to that. I love that stuff. I'm just slowly venturing out. I got a long way to go with the card pool, and that's a major part of my game. I'm wanting to work on right now is just learning the card pool. So
I just think Leela's ability might be better than Gabe's.
yeah.
Like the two credits is good, but it's super transparent and everyone just like ices up HQ,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's the ability sometimes just doesn't fire a lot. I find,
Yeah.
um, especially I'm sure Crisium Grid is really popular in this format.
That's true. Yeah, I just like to, experience the old stuff. I'm trying to. It's going to take me forever to work through the card pool because I really want to play every card that's ever
Yeah,
came out. And so
totally.
I'm like I want to play Gabe until I'm tired of Gabe, type things. But it's probably slowing down my progress a little bit, and I'm looking for. I'll say this. I'm actually looking to possibly grab and I might be grabbing that Hoshiko deck. I actually got it from somebody the other day, and I was getting ready to start playing it, and I'm possibly thinking about playing a couple of decks nonstop for the next month, and maybe entering worlds just to see how if I can make it past. I mean, it's not like I'm losing money on travel, right? It's $35, and if I make it
Dude, you should play.
145.
I don't know why you wouldn't play.
Yeah, so I'm thinking about going for it and just seeing what I can do just off of learning a deck halfway decent. You know what I mean?
Oh
So
yeah, I mean, like you could even modify something you already know, like a good like Leela is probably one of the best runners right now in the game,
yeah,
maybe better than Hoshiko.
yeah,
Um, and so like you just have to replace some of the cards that you don't have access to
mm-hmm,
with some other ones, and then you're off to the races.
yeah.
So
So
let's go ahead and jump in.
yep,
Oh,
for
so
sure.
like we can assume this is a similar blue sun to yours, where they're gonna try and kill you, right?
Yep,
They're gonna have punitive. They're gonna want to get an econ advantage over you. So yeah, we got that.
yep,
Okay.
yep. All right, here we go. I think that is what happened. I can't remember. Yeah, I think they dropped me. I might be wrong.
We'll see.
Oh, yep.
This seems like a good hand. That's a good keep. The Earthrise is good for draw. The Caddy is good because that's kind of sounds like your long term plan. Also, you have the draw with Blueberry Diesel.
Yep. That's one of the reasons I kept it because I know draw is important, like you said, early game. I'm trying to learn that more.
Draw is important in all games.
Yep.
The, yeah, I think you put Corroder down. Yeah.
That's one of the things I've really been practicing, like deliberate practice, is making sure I draw first in my turn so I can get that information early and things like that. Some of the things, but I'm ready to kind of move on from that because I've been, even though I'm not perfect on it, I've kind of gotten to a place where it's kind of my natural instinct. So,
So an interesting thing you can do here as well, just in hindsight, is if you don't have any cards in play, one thing you can do is you can run and just check and just force them to res.
mm-hmm.
Because when you force, now that you have caddy down, you really run the risk of them trashing it with some card.
Right.
But if you don't have programs or things where, because a lot of their ice, I'm assuming, is like trash a program, that kind of stuff, right?
Yep.
I do not think I like this play. So the reason I don't like this play is you don't know what that ice is, and two, I mean, you can break it, but that's kind of expensive for you to do. This is a 4 credit play. I mean, it might pay off, but it doesn't pay off. Yeah, I think going to 2 credits is hard. And did you draw that turn? I think I don't know if you drew. So what do they got there? That's a toll booth. Yeah, see, having them res that early would have been good.
Hmm.
So doing that check. So we're assuming that's a Christium grid.
I want to pause this for a second because I want to ask you about something here. So, with normal corporation IDs, if you make them res it, now they're out that money, right? But
Yep.
what's the difference in strategy with that? That early game, I usually don't push as hard on Blue Sun because I know they're just going to get the money back.
So think of it this way: Blue Sun can only do that once.
Mm-hmm.
Make them res both ice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, and you have to also think Blue Sun is often running really expensive ice. So if they're at like 5 credits, they can't res that toll booth. And so you get a free access and 2 credits from Gabe's ability if you had run HQ. I didn't know what their money was, but if you had run HQ, now hitting the toll booth and losing 3 kind of sucks. But like there is a lot of value in forcing them to res because if they get a lot of ice down resed, then they can only bring back one thing at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And now so I mean it's a tough call. So like we can go forward here.
Yep. Yep. So you're saying sometimes you might even want to be more aggressive with Blue Sun early.
I mean I think just being aggressive at runner is good, right? Like you win the game with accesses. So yeah, now they just made tons of cash there. One thing I like to do if I have the money, I like to go and break that oversight AI ice just so it trashes it if I can. So we're assuming this is the toll booth again.
That's what I should have kept that boomerang around for, is when he did that oversight AI, huh?
Oh yeah, you could have trashed that thing, killing it.
Yep.
Yeah, like you like I like using boomer. I mean, you're basically swapping. Yeah, they're losing 8 credits. Yeah, it would have been a good play, I think. So Bravado is a great card for doing this concept of forcing them to res, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what do we think is on R&D?
Oh, the toll booth.
Yeah. Which is fine. That's a big res for them. But now you're in this position where you can force them to do some more resing,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
Like what if you had run HQ at this time? Like they might res an after, they might res something else. I mean, you might lose some money. I get that, but I don't think like it's going to hurt you too bad, but it's going to force them to make all these reses that they might not want to do.
Hmm. I was definitely too not pushing like I needed to this game. I have games where I go really, really hard, and then I have games where I sit back and don't, and I need to be more consistent in that for sure.
Well, it's a balance. It's knowing when to do it,
Mm-hmm.
right? So like here, I think you use your dirty laundry on archives and get the money from it.
Right.
Um, oh yes, it is a misplay because if you can't pay the three, you can't move forward.
Right. Yep. And that was me making that blunder. He even tells me. He tells me over here. He's like, "That doesn't work the way you think it does."
Yeah, that's a misplay. So yeah, you can't move past toll booth without paying
Mm-hmm.
the. You got to pay the toll troll.
Yep. As soon as I read it, I went back and read it. Sometimes I just forget those little nuances, but I went back and read it. I'm like, well, that was stupid.
And now you got a boomerang on there, which is like kind of a bad boomerang, I
Yep.
think.
Yep.
Um, so I like what you want to do is use your use your dirty laundries when you know you can 100% be successful. So
Mm-hmm.
oftentimes what we do is we use dirty laundries on archives. It's a common play. Or I mean, you also use it on against like asset spam decks where you can go check the server and also get the box format, the 3 credits.
Right. Yep.
See, this is a tempo play. You installing this corroder is a tempo play you shouldn't have made. You should have run to get more money because now you're at 0 credits. I know you have 18 stored up. That's nice, but I still think it was a tempo play.
Yep.
See, now they're in a great spot because they have all this unres dice. It becomes very difficult for you to. So here you would want, I think you'd want to. See, if you had not installed that corroder and had gotten the money from Dirty Laundry, you would have had the money to play. You would have had the money from Sure Gamble, and you
Yep.
wouldn't have had to take these 18 credits. You would have
Mm-hmm.
been able to pump it one more time.
Yep. I see it. And the other thing I've learned, especially from Blue Sun, is whenever you don't want to put that boomerang out until until you know you're going to use it because they can just take it back and now you can't ever install another boomerang.
You can install another one. You just have to trash that one.
Oh, so I
You
can
can.
put so you
So
can
since it's unique, when you install a unique item, it trashes the other item. So if you install
ah
another Caddy Jones, it would trash the other Caddy Jones. So
that
like if you draw another boomerang, you just install it. You have to manually do it. You trash that boomerang and then install a new one.
oh that's awesome information because I thought I was just screwed the rest of the game because
No, you're not. You're not. You can't you, you can't you can't trash cards on their own. Like you can't trash this Earthrise Hotel. Oh, this is a misplay too. You should have played the Bravado
mm-hmm.
because you don't know 100% if you can get it or not.
Right. It seems so blatant, and I did it anyway.
Yeah, it's a like you want to use a so you're breaking for 7. See what the better play here is run that with bravado, force them to res,
Yep.
let it fire because it just ends the run,
Uh-huh.
and then like run our HQ or something.
Yeah. And then I could come back with the emergency shutdown and
Oh, and you're gonna lose your breakers here because of this. You're gonna lose one of them, probably corroder.
yeah. Luckily, I ended up drawing one back shortly, but I wouldn't have known that at the time.
Yeah, like so this like what stinks about this is you're actually going to get surprisingly you're going to get your bucks from your dirty laundry,
Hmm.
but you would have gotten more bucks from bravado
Yeah, for sure.
because you would have gotten. I mean, I wouldn't have even continued. I would have just run, let Hadrian's Wall them res it, and then run their centrals, like R&D or something, because then they're gonna have no money,
Yeah, no, that's
and they
good.
can only bring one thing back.
Yeah.
Ugh.
At this point, I made it this far. I was like, I'm gotta trash this because I came all this way for nothing.
So the reason I don't like this trash if you trash it is the counters are super easy to get off because all you have to do is run a central. So you
Mm.
just run archives a few
Uh,
times and the counters go away.
okay.
But it only costs two. Maybe it's okay. But now you're stuck with a tag. Eek. Yeah, they trashed Caddy Jones for sure.
Yeah, major blunders out here. Got you plenty of material to talk about here.
That's fine. I mean, like, I make bonehead mistakes like that all the time. One of the things they talk about is running last click, um, as like a. Sometimes you have to, but if you can run on your third click, it's much better
Hmm.
because then you have a click to deal with the consequences of whatever happened.
Right.
Like if you get hit with a snare, you can clear the tag, or if um, you know, need to, protect something or whatever. So they're pretty poor right now. This is another example where using bravado on like HQ would be really good.
Yep. I think I might actually do something. I think I end up running a headquarters so I can pull off this emergency shutdown. I'm not thinking very long term in this game. I'm just like, I want to pull off this emergency shutdown right here. You know what I mean?
See, the thing about it though is like you should think long term. Like they have only 9 credits. They have only 1 point scored. Yeah, so I think that's a great like forcing them to res that toll booth is good.
Yep. I basically did what you've been telling me to do this whole game, this turn right here. Because I'm about to run headquarters, then I'm going to emergency shut down them basically and make him lose some money.
That's awesome. That's the exact play.
Yeah, even a dog gets a bone sometimes, you know what I mean?
I don't like that play, but that's okay. I mean, maybe it's okay. It's probably fine. I don't know what the ice suite is that they run. You just run the risk of like a ice wall or something.
Mm-hmm.
But you're able to get in, so it's okay. Oh, good steal. What do you trash? Your Rozeki, I think.
Yeah.
Colossus. Ooh, trash that. Yeah. So that's a risk. I think you trash that, right?
I don't.
I think you maybe you trash it. Definitely emergency shutdown. That's a good one. Yeah. Isn't that so annoying? They just bring that back.
That was probably the only price solid turn I had out of this game, just about.
Oh, that's a good turn.
Yeah.
The thing about it though is you're in still an okay spot here. Like you're up points.
Mm-hmm.
This is where an HQ run might be good. Force them to res the Chrysium or force them to res any ice. Yeah, they see that because they were in kind of a position where it would be expensive for them to res ice. It would be hard for them.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good case to run.
Right.
You might lose that Abagnale, but I think it's okay.
Mm-hmm. I'm seeing it as you're describing it, right? The money situation, knowing when to
Well, they're at
run.
8. Like 8 is for them. They have Hadrian's Wall. They have Toll Booth. They have really expensive stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like so, if you would even run R&D, there's a good chance they if they had res it, you would have lost 2 credits because you have one bad pub. But then that you could make that back by running HQ
Right.
and getting an access.
That's a great point.
So what do we think this is?
I was hoping it was an agenda.
I don't think so. Like, I don't think they're going to. Oh yeah, because you had bottom the corroder. That's right. You needed to special order it. Um, I think the better play before you install stuff is to just get money
Mm-hmm.
because they're not going to. They're going to advance. They are on big agendas like you are.
I was basically like, I'm not even going to give him a chance, but I'm ahead on points. I should have just been more patient here and went ahead and, like you said, get money and prepare for future turns, right? Probably put out
See, I
that
don't
Rozeki.
see. I think breaking this was a mistake. Like you went super poor,
Yeah.
probably for nothing.
Yep.
Something you can't even trash,
Yep.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So what you should have done is run that, force them to res the Hadrian's Wall, because you know that's what it is. There's no consequence to it.
Mm-hmm.
Then run HQ and get $2.
Right. Yep.
And whatever there's in there you can trash or whatever. So now you're on one credit, like that's bad.
Yeah.
Like you should, I think, only be breaking the Hadrian's Wall if you know you can break it, because it costs you what is the strength? 7,
7.
5. You're paying 7 to break it. It's like breaking toll booth. Same. I think toll booth is 7 as well for you.
Yeah, I mean, it makes so much sense now. I'm looking at this. He would have been broke. I could have had free accesses on both headquarters and R&D, like almost every
Exactly.
turn.
Well, not every turn. He would have got it back the next turn, but that turn you would have got 2 accesses, one on HQ, one on R&D,
Yeah.
and you would have had $10 still, probably about.
I just mean if I ran that remote every time and made him res that Hadrian's, but obviously he wouldn't do it this.
He's not going to do it this time, but like you could do it this time.
Yeah.
Well, he can't even res it because it costs him 10. Well, we'll see what he does. He or she. I don't know if this. I'll say they. I don't know if this is.
It does have a he, him.
Oh, okay, cool. I'll use he then. So that one we don't know. So that's a little riskier. Oh, what's this? So I think you could. Well, you're kind of poor. Hmm. Yeah, you got to get. I mean, I think this is fine play, but they're just in a better position now.
I'm checking to see if I have any more emergency shutdowns right now.
Like, how many times can I do this? Okay. Is NGO legal in this? No.
No. It's
So
yeah.
this could be an agenda, or they're tricky, and like they like are they have aggressive secretary. They have. It looks like they're doing traps.
Yep.
Mm,
And that's why I basically
I don't
say
think you run this. Do you run this?
I figured it was a trap, but I wanted to see if he had a really strong, ice there, because otherwise you basically know it's a trap. Because why would he put a agenda out behind one, ice like that?
Well,
So
so then another way to. Oh, so you didn't run it.
I jacked out. The
Got you.
thing
Yeah, that's good. I think that's okay.
the thing I
I don't.
realized is I shouldn't even paid to break it in the first place, right? I
No,
should
you
just
pay to break it. Well, you don't pay the end the run, but you pay
yeah,
the other one. You don't let them get the counter.
right. Yeah, I almost asked him if I could have that bug back, but I was like,
I think it's reasonable to ask. So this is a good situation to. Yeah, see, they got a bunch of money there. So we know it's a Hadrian's Wall. I don't like this play. The
mm-hmm,
reason I don't like this play is because it's probably not an agenda.
Right.
Like it looks like they're on hostile takeovers, public supports. I don't know why they're scoring the public support. It's kind of weird. So you get to pass this. I thought this was banned. Oh, I guess it must not be banned in modded.
Yeah, it's all Ash's stuff.
It was banned in. It's banned now in standard.
Yeah, that's an example of me getting something and being like, I'm using it instead of saying, hey, is there a time, maybe I should save this for a time where I really know it's, needed.
Yeah, you
And
save it for. Oh, they're bringing that back.
I've
Okay.
never seen that before, and that really showed me another way that you can use Blue Sun right there, right? Just throw a trap out there, and now I'm sitting there every time they throw one out and put a counters on it. Like, is that an agenda or a trap, right?
Totally. Yeah.
It's really good play.
But what you want to be doing, like, I think you've only gotten Gabe's bucks once.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're not putting enough pressure on centrals. See, all of this by forcing. So when you think about it, when you force Blue Sun to res, you force Blue Sun to. They can only do it once per turn.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is you force them to also use a click, reinstalling it, and paying a credit. Right? So them forcing them to res ice is good.
Yeah.
See, this is tough because it could be an agenda. I mean, yeah. So you could use this boomerang that Hadrian's Wall, if you really wanted to go for that.
And see what it was. Yep.
Oh, you could because you could have boomeranged the Hadrian's Wall. Oh, see, that's fine. I mean, they're just wasting 2 credits doing that.
Yeah, no.
That would have been 4 net damage.
But they almost got me though. I mean, it's the reason in some ways it's keeping you guessing.
Yeah, I don't think you run this server. Um, Maker's Eye is interesting. Getting your Caddy Jones down is maybe good because once again, they're like you're still actually winning this game. I don't like this play at all.
Yep.
I don't like it.
I hear you.
It's going to cost you way too much.
In fact, I think I die next turn here.
Yeah, because if you hit agendas, if you hit and they have double punitive or something.
That's what they do. Yep, that's exactly what he's going to do right now.
So in this case, because you're going to pay a ton to break that.
Yep, $5. I'm broke. I'm basically going all in. Like I want to win this game now, right?
It's unlikely though.
Yeah. Especially since it looks like they're running a lot of 3s and 1s. See, I get that. But then I see that punitive, and I realize this guy's probably got another one in his hand. It's a wrap. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. So, you can always bypass with. Why did they res that?
Always bypass what?
So you could have bypassed with if you wanted to win the game, you're kind of going all in.
Mm-hmm.
Abagnale, one of the other ability.
Yep.
It can you can trash it to bypass, so you wouldn't have lost any money.
Right.
Yeah. And I don't know if they would not have been able to double punitive you. They were too poor.
Yeah, well, That is, I mean, when I look at this game, and especially when you describe it, it seems so simple what I did wrong, right? But when I get in the next game, I'm still gonna be wrestling with it. But hey, that's practice,
I
right?
think like the thing you work on here is trying to understand when you run and when you don't run, right? Like because there are times where running, the consequences aren't going to be that bad for you, right? By you running that server and just forcing them to res the Hadrian's Wall,
Mm-hmm.
no big deal,
Yep.
right? Not that big deal at all. Um, and then you go and run somewhere else because you just force them to pay 10 credits, and um, they can then they are then you have openings elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Then your other mistake is you were too extreme the other way, where like sometimes you were too cautious when you should have been being aggressive, and then other times you were like aggressive because you're like Hail Marying it when they weren't actually in a winning position. They only had 2 points, right? Public support and hostile takeover. There's still a lot more agendas. There's a lot more game left. If you had just credited up, even clicking for credits, you would have been in a better position. Or getting that Caddy Jones down, you would have been fine.
Yep. I see it, and as you describe it, it helped me see even more. Like I watched it again last night, and I saw some of it, but you really brought out about way more of it, and just showed me. So, like I said, that's what it was about, and I appreciate it. Now I got to go and actually implement what you've shown me.
So
That's
I would do this. This is your homework.
okay.
Your
All right.
homework is to look at the look at the board state, especially when the runner advances, right? Or the corp advances. Look at the board state and be like, a great strategy sometimes if someone advances something is run a central, run R&D or run HQ, force them to res that ice.
Mm-hmm.
Because then it's more expensive for them. Then they are going to have to spend more money to also res the ice on the remote. So whenever that person advanced that June bug, you should have ran HQ and just said, okay, I'm going to go check HQ, see what's going on in here. And then if they res a bunch of stuff on HQ, then go ahead and run that server because it's going to make them even more broke.
Right.
So what you're trying to do is create forks, like decisions for the corporation. Like I'm going to run this way. You have a decision to res this or not. You can choose to, but if you res this, then I have now another window to go run here.
Yep. Yep.
That's your homework. Your homework is to force reses.
Got it. All right, I've definitely, at points I've understand it. And there's games. It's weird because there's games that I'll feel it and I'll do that kind of stuff, and there's other games where it's completely devoid of my thought process at this point. You know what I mean? And I want to be more consistent, but like you said, it's just deliberate practice right there on that.
Okay, yeah, and your other piece of homework is, you should try some games where every turn you draw a card first click.
All right, I'm gonna do it. All right,
I don't know if it's always the best decision, but a lot of times it's a good decision.
Yeah. All right, I'm drawing cards and I'm making people res stuff, and I'll get back with you on how it went.
And
all right,
if you're in a winning position like you were, don't do big committing plays.
Yeah.
When you don't have a ton of money.
Yep.
Like
that's so
just
good.
Build up because like they're creating the tempo of the game. If they're not scoring, then you're like, fine, I'm just gonna get credits. I'm just gonna keep getting stuff.
The worst part is if you really told me all the things I need to work on, I'd have a lot of homework.
Well, it's the real concept there is, should I run? When should I run? Is what you're trying to answer. Is now a good time to run? And if I am committing to run, how can I make it be painful for the corporation?
Got you. All right.
Cool, man. Well, hey, this was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this.
I did too. Maybe we can, after I practice for a while, we can come back and see if I applied the lessons or not. Maybe. So.
Yeah, that'd be sweet. I mean, I think it'd be fun to actually play games together. That's what I find to be the most valuable. So we'll have to do that sometime instead of. I mean, watching videos is good, but it's better to like be in the moment and be like, hey, why are you making that choice? Let's correct.
Sure, sure. All right, we'll do that. We'll do that next time. We'll figure it out at some point and get back on here and give it another whirl. But next time we'll play games together, so you can coach me real time.
Sounds
So,
good, man.
all right, hey, I appreciate your time. Like I said, Kevin, and y'all check him out. He's on the hacktivist on YouTube and has a whole lot of content. Half of it I can't understand because I'm not even smart enough to grasp it all, but I can still glean good stuff off of it. So y'all check it out, and you'll see Kevin around in not only tournaments but also blogs and probably interviews and any other number of venues. So y'all know him and y'all have heard his story now, so if you hadn't already. And thanks again, Kevin.
Well, thanks so much, Spray. You have a great rest of your night.
All right, you too.